My sisters, my daughters, my warriors in waiting, I came here today to tell you something that will set your heart free. You have been sitting in that quiet place wondering why the silence has stretched so long. You have questioned yourself, doubted your worth, and whispered to the night, why hasn't he called? Why hasn't he texted? Does he not see what I carry inside of me? But hear me when I say, silence is not rejection, it's a setup. It is in the absence that value is created. The diamond is precious because it is rare. The pearl is costly because it is hidden in the deep. And you, my dear, are far more precious than rubies. If he went silent, if he disappeared, don't you dare chase after him, because your worth is not measured by his attention. When he reaches out, understand this. He is not just coming back, he is being drawn. Something inside of him recognizes the loss of something great. The question is not why he reaches out, but what will you do when he does? Will you fold? Will you break? Will you lower your standard just to feel seen? No. Silence is not the end of the story, it is the beginning of revelation. Too often, when a man pulls away, when the calls stop coming, when the texts dry up like a river in drought, you begin to doubt yourself. You start to question your worth, replaying every conversation, every moment, trying to find the mistake. But let me tell you something today. This silence is not a rejection. It is a setup. It is a divine pause, a moment where God is allowing you to see not just him, but yourself more clearly. When someone pulls away, when they create distance, it is not always because you did something wrong. Sometimes it is because God is shifting something in you. The silence is a space for revelation. It is a moment where you must decide if you will be led by your emotions or if you will stand firm in your identity. You see, silence will test you. Silence will show you where your insecurities lie. Silence will make you confront what you truly believe about yourself. Many times we mistake silence for abandonment. But I came to tell you today that silence is not absence, it is preparation. A man's silence is not always an indication of his final decision. Sometimes it is a response to his own internal battle. He may be struggling with commitment. He may be wrestling with his emotions. He may be testing the waters to see if you will chase him or if you will hold your ground. When a man pulls back, the natural reaction is to panic. You want to reach out, to send that long text explaining how much you care, to remind him of what you had. But listen to me, desperation does not create desire. If you chase, you teach him that you are always available no matter how he treats you. You show him that his silence can manipulate you into movement. But a woman who knows her worth, oh, she moves differently. She understands that silence is a test, and she passes that test by standing still. She does not beg, she does not plead, she does not shrink, she does not adjust her worth to fit into the gap he has created. Instead, she steps back and watches. She observes what he does in the silence, because a man's true intentions are revealed in how he handles distance. Does he come back with clarity, with purpose, with intentionality, or does he return out of boredom, out of convenience, out of the simple need to keep you attached while he explores other options? If you do not give silence its rightful place, you will never know the difference. This is why you must not fear the quiet, you must embrace it. You must use it to reflect, to realign, to remind yourself that you are not an option, you are the blessing. If he is meant for you, silence will not separate you. If he values you, he will return with respect. And if he does not, then the silence was never a law. So today I want you to stop chasing, stop overanalyzing, stop mourning a silence that was never meant to break you. Instead, stand up in your worth. Trust that what is meant for you will never be confused about you. A man who is truly meant to be in your life will recognize your value even in your absence. He will return not just to reach out, but to pursue with purpose. Let silence do its work. Let it separate the unsure from the certain. Let it refine you, strengthen you, prepare you, because a man who truly wants you will not leave you in doubt. He will make it clear. He will make it known. And when that time comes, you will be standing strong, not as a woman who begged to be seen, but as a woman who was always worthy of pursuit. The power of absence is one of the most underestimated forces in relationships. We live in a world where we are conditioned to believe that constant presence is necessary for connection, that the more we pour in, the more we will receive. But let me tell you something today. Value is not created in excess. It is created in scarcity. The rarest gems, the most sought after treasures, the things that people pursue with passion are not found in places of easy access. They are hidden, they are protected, they are set apart. And if you do not understand this, you will keep giving yourself away at a discount when you were meant to be priceless. When you make yourself too available, too accessible, when you constantly remind someone of your presence, you take away the very thing that makes you desirable. Think about it. Why do people crave what they cannot have? Why do they chase after what seems just beyond their reach? Because value is perceived through the lens of rarity. It is not the everyday things that captivate people's attention. It is the things that stand apart. And if you want to be truly valued, you must learn how to create distance with purpose. Absence is not about playing games. It is not about manipulation. It is about allowing space for appreciation. When you are always there, always giving, always responding immediately, always adjusting yourself to fit into someone's life, you are not being treasured. You are being taken for granted. And that is not because the other person is necessarily malicious or ungrateful, but because human nature responds to patterns. What is always there becomes expected. What is expected becomes overlooked. And what is overlooked eventually becomes forgotten. This is why distance creates value. When you remove yourself, when you allow someone to feel the weight of your absence, they begin to recognize what they had. They begin to notice the little things they once ignored. They start to feel the void that only you can fill. And this is when true realization happens. Not when you're forcing your presence into someone's life, but when they come to their own understanding of your worth. You see, people do not always appreciate what is freely given. They appreciate what is earned, what is chosen, what is respected. If you are always chasing, always proving yourself, always showing up, even when you are being neglected, you are not being valued, you are being used. But when you step back, when you allow silence to do its work, you shift the dynamic. You are no longer the one seeking approval. You are the one being sought after. A woman who understands the power of absence does not beg for love. She does not plead for attention. She does not reduce herself to gain validation. She knows that the right person will recognize her worth even when she is not in front of them. She does not need to remind them. She does not need to fight for a position in their life. She is the position, and that position is non-negotiable. Now hear me when I say this. If absence does not create value in someone's eyes, they were never meant to have you in the first place. Because the right person, the person who truly sees you, will not let your absence go unnoticed. They will not risk losing you. They will not need you to prove your worth because they will already know it. So stop running, stop chasing, stop trying to fill every space to make someone remember you. If they cannot recognize your value in your absence, they do not deserve your presence. Because a woman who knows her worth does not fight for a place. She stands in it. And those who truly understand her value will always choose to meet her there. When he reaches out after silence, it is not just a moment, it is a test of his intentions, a test of your strength, and a test of whether you have truly understood your worth. Because silence is not just about what he is doing, it is about what you are allowing. When a man disappears and then returns, it is not simply because he misses you. He is testing the waters, trying to see if you are still available, still waiting, still willing to accept him on his terms. But hear me when I say this. A man's return should never be met with blind acceptance. It should be met with discernment. Because not every return is a revival. Some returns are nothing more than a cycle of convenience, a cycle of inconsistency, a cycle of emotional uncertainty that keeps you tied to a man who does not fully value you. And if you are not careful, you will mistake his reaching out for a sign of commitment, when in reality, it may just be a sign of his need for control. You see, when a man reaches out after silence, you must ask yourself, what is the motive? Is he reaching out because he has realized your worth, or is he reaching out because he is afraid of losing his hold on you? Is he coming back with clarity, with purpose, with intention, or is he simply looking to see if he can still occupy space in your life without giving you the commitment you deserve? This is why your response to his return is everything. If you immediately jump back in, if you instantly respond with excitement, if you make it easy for him to pick up where he left off, you are teaching him that he can come and go as he pleases. You are showing him that there is no consequence for his inconsistency. But when you pause, when you reflect, when you take a step back, instead of rushing forward, you shift the power. You let him know that your presence is not guaranteed. It is earned. A man who truly values you will not just reach out, he will show up. He will not just send a message, he will make a move. He will not just offer words, he will bring actions that align with those words. Because when a man truly realizes what he has in you, he will not risk losing you again. He will not treat you as an afterthought. He will not play games with your emotions. He will come with certainty, with direction, with the kind of pursuit that leaves no room for doubt. And if he does not, If he is still vague, still inconsistent, still hesitant, then, my dear, that is your answer. That is your sign that he is not ready, that he is not capable of giving you the kind of love you need. And when you recognize this, you do not have to beg, you do not have to argue, you do not have to convince. You simply let go. You walk away with your dignity intact, knowing that the man who is truly meant for you will never need to be convinced of your worth. So when he reaches out after silence, do not let your emotions dictate your response. Let your wisdom lead. Ask yourself, does his return align with the standards you have set for yourself? Does his presence add value, or does it bring confusion? Does he make you feel secure, or does he leave you questioning? Because a woman who knows her worth does not accept a man just because he comes back. She only accepts a man who comes back correctly. And if he does not, then the silence was never a loss, it was a lesson that prepared you for the love that will never leave you in doubt, a love that will not need space to realize your value, a love that will see you, choose you, and cherish you from the start. Positioning yourself as the prize is not about arrogance, it is about awareness. It is about knowing who you are, what you bring, and refusing to shrink just to fit into someone else's story. Too many women exhaust themselves trying to prove their worth to a man who should have recognized it from the start. They overcompensate, they overgive, they overextend themselves in an effort to make someone choose them. But let me tell you something today. A woman who knows her value does not chase, she attracts. She does not beg, she sets the standard. She does not lower herself to be. The difference between being the prize and being an option lies in the way you carry yourself. It is not about playing games. It is about setting the tone for how you deserve to be treated. When you chase after a man, when you rearrange your life to accommodate him without any reciprocation, when you make excuses for his inconsistency, you are teaching him that your presence is not a privilege. It is a guarantee. And what is guaranteed is often taken for granted. Men do not value what comes too easily. This is not about manipulation. This is about human nature. People value what they have to work for, what they have to earn, what they have to be intentional about. And if you want a man to see you as the prize, you must position yourself accordingly. You must operate from a place of confidence, not desperation. You must hold your standards so firmly that a man understands from the very beginning that you are not like the rest. When you understand your worth, you do not tolerate half-hearted effort. You do not entertain inconsistency. You do not allow yourself to be put on hold while he figures out his options, because the prize does not wait to be chosen. The prize is pursued. And the right man, the man who truly sees your value, will not hesitate. He will not leave you wondering. He will not play with your emotions. He will step up because he knows that a woman of your caliber will not sit around waiting for a man to decide whether or not he wants her. This is why you must shift your mindset. Stop trying to convince a man to choose you. Stop waiting for him to see what he had all along. Stop bending over backward to make him recognize your worth. Recognize it for yourself first, because when you do, you will move differently. You will not waste your time on a man who is unsure about you. You will not settle for someone who only gives you attention when it is convenient for him. You will not keep yourself available for a man who does not prioritize you. Being the prize means understanding that you are not here to fit into a man's life on his terms. You are here to be met with the effort, respect, and consistency you deserve. It means knowing that if a man truly values you, he will show it, not with empty words, but with actions that leave no room for doubt. And if he does not, then you let him go. Because the moment you refuse to settle for less, you make space for the man who will give you more. So hold your head high, stand firm in your standards. Know that the man who is truly meant for you will not need to be convinced of your worth. He will see it, he will honor it, and he will pursue you with the kind of love that does not waver. Because a woman who positions herself as the prize does not lose men. She simply weeds out the ones who were never worthy of her in the first place. Emotional strength is the foundation of knowing your worth and standing firm in it. It is the ability to hold yourself together, to maintain your dignity, and to refuse to let desperation dictate your actions. Too many women find themselves trapped in emotional turmoil when a man pulls away, when he goes silent, when he creates distance. They panic, they overanalyze, they feel the urge to reach out, to fix, to chase. But hear me when I say this. A woman who is emotionally strong does not crumble in uncertainty. She does not beg for clarity. She stands in her power, knowing that the right man will never leave her questioning her worth. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who refuses to be shaken by a man's inconsistency. A woman who does not allow her emotions to drive her into desperation. A woman who understands that her value is not dependent on whether or not a man chooses to stay. When you operate from emotional strength, you do not react to silence with fear. You do not see a man's distance as a sign that you need to prove yourself. You recognize that if he is meant for you, he will come correct. And if he is not, his absence is a blessing, not a loss. Emotional strength is not about being cold, detached, or indifferent. It is about holding your standards even when it's hard. It is about refusing to let loneliness push you into accepting less than you deserve. It is about having the discipline to walk away from a situation that does not serve you, even when your heart wants to stay. Because a weak woman clings to what is inconsistent, but a strong woman releases what is unsure. She does not hold on to a man who is unsure about her. She does not negotiate her worth to fit into his life. She stands firm in the belief that what is truly meant for her will recognize her value and pursue her accordingly. When a man sees that you are emotionally strong, that you are not easily swayed by breadcrumbs of attention, that you will not settle for bare minimum effort, he will either rise to meet your standards or step aside. And either outcome is a win for you, because you are not here to convince a man of your worth. You are here to be valued by a man who already knows it. A woman who is emotionally strong understands that she is the prize. She does not chase, she does not beg, she does not fall apart when someone walks away. She holds her head high and keeps moving forward because she knows that the right man will never make her feel like she has to fight for a place in his life. She knows that a man who truly wants her will show up for her, pursue her with intention, and make it clear that she is what he wants. So today I want you to shift your mindset. Stop reacting from fear. Stop letting a man's inconsistency make you question yourself. Stop allowing temporary silence to make you forget your permanent worth. You are not a woman who waits to be chosen. You are a woman who chooses herself first. And when you do that, when you walk in that confidence, when you embody that strength, you will find that the right man will be drawn to you, not because you chased him, but because you stood firm in your power and allowed him to step up and meet you where you are. And if he does not, if he continues to be inconsistent, if he does not recognize your value, if he keeps you waiting in uncertainty, then, my dear, let him go. Because a woman of strength does not hold on to a man who cannot handle the weight of her worth. She releases him, knowing that in doing so, she is making room for the man who truly deserves her. The man who will see her, honor her, and pursue her with the kind of love that does not require her to question herself. Emotional strength is the key to unlocking the love you deserve. It is the discipline to walk away from what is not serving you, the wisdom to wait for what aligns with your worth, and the confidence to know that what is meant for you will never require you to beg for it. When you master the art of making him chase, you shift the entire dynamic of how relationships work in your life. You stop being the one who waits, who wonders, who questions her worth based on a man's actions. Instead, you become the woman who naturally attracts, who commands attention without demanding it, and who walks in the confidence that she is the prize. A man will always pursue what he perceives as valuable. But the moment something becomes too easy, too predictable, too available, it loses its appeal. Making him chase is not about manipulation. It is about understanding human nature. It is about recognizing that men are hunters by instinct, that they crave the thrill of pursuit, and that they do not cherish what is handed to them without effort. When you position yourself as the prize you do not chase, you allow yourself to be pursued. And the key to that, your energy, your boundaries, and your ability to walk away if he does not meet your standards. The first thing you must understand is that you do not need to prove yourself. Too many women exhaust themselves trying to be chosen, trying to be perfect, trying to mold themselves into what they think a man wants, but that is not how attraction works. A man does not chase what is desperate to be caught. He chases what he fears losing. And that means you must operate from a place of confidence. You must move in a way that says, I know my worth and I will not settle for anything less than what I deserve. When you embody this mindset, everything shifts. You do not overtext. You do not overgive. You do not make excuses for his inconsistency. You match his effort, not his potential. If he is inconsistent, you pull back. If he is unsure, you create space. If he is not stepping up, you do not step in to compensate. A man must feel that he could lose you if he does not rise to the occasion. Not because you are playing games, but because you refuse to entertain half-hearted effort. The second thing you must master is mystery. A woman who is an open book, who gives too much too soon, who lays everything out without allowing him to uncover layers, removes the very thing that ignites a man's desire to chase. A man must feel that there is always more to learn about you, more to discover, more to earn. You do not need to tell him everything all at once. You do not need to be overly available. You create an air of intrigue, depth, and unpredictability. Making him chase also means that you set the pace. You do not allow him to dictate the rhythm of the relationship. If he disappears and then returns, he does not get to pick up where he left off without proving himself. If he wants access to you, he must show consistency. And most importantly, you do not rush to define a relationship on his terms. You let him show through action that he is worthy of the position in your life. The final and most important element is your ability to walk away. A woman who is willing to leave the table when she is not being served is a woman who commands respect. A man must feel that you are not afraid to remove yourself if he is not stepping up. This is where most women struggle. They fear that if they pull back, if they stop initiating, if they do not accommodate his inconsistencies, he will lose interest. But hear me when I say this. If a man loses interest because you demanded respect, he was never the right man for you. A man will chase what he values, and he will value what he has to work for. The moment you realize that you do not have to force a man to pursue you, that the right man will naturally step up, you will never chase again. You will sit back in your power, knowing that the one who is meant for you will recognize your worth and do whatever it takes to keep you. At the end of the day, the power is in your hands. You are not at the mercy of a man's inconsistency, his silence, or his indecision. You are not here to prove your worth, to beg for love, or to chase after someone who cannot see what is right in front of him. You are the prize. And the moment you truly understand that, everything changes. A man who reaches out after silence is not always coming back for the right reasons. That is why you must move with wisdom, not emotion. You must not mistake his return for true commitment. You must not allow your desire to be chosen to override your discernment. Instead, you step back, you observe, and you let his actions, because a man will chase what he values, and he will value what he has to earn. If you make it too easy, if you allow him to come and go as he pleases, if you continue to tolerate inconsistency, you teach him that your presence is a convenience, not a privilege. But when you position yourself as the prize, when you walk in confidence, when you set boundaries, when you refuse to accept less than you deserve, you shift the power. You make it clear that a man must show up fully, consistently, and intentionally if he wants a place in your life. And if he does not, then you let him go. You do not beg. You do not lower your standards. You do not settle. You stand firm in the knowledge that the right man, the one who truly values you, the one who sees your worth without needing to lose you first, will pursue you with clarity, with effort, and with the kind of love that leaves no room for doubt. So from this moment on, I need you to walk differently, think differently, move differently. No more chasing, no more waiting, no more accepting less than you deserve. Because when you embody that strength, when you stand firm in your value, you will find that the right man will not need to be convinced. He will know.